on our way to the barracks. Just coming up here on your left. Would it be your left? Yes, it would be your left. I'll point out to you the White Hart Inn, which I suggest is a place to eat or rest for finer travels such as yourselves. There are other places within town, but this is the one I would suggest. It's been around for hundreds of years, and it's always welcomed adventurers with open arms for lodgings ranging for about $1 per evening.
And that's number one.
That's number one.
Okay.
So again, you're coming from the south. You cross across this ford here, which the river Ashaba is probably, I'm going to just assume, well actually I guess if we look at just at the scale on the map, it's almost 100 feet across. So it's quite wide, but it's quite shallow. And specifically at this point marked the ford, it comes up to only about maybe a horse's knees depth. Like, it's quite quick moving, but you could cross it by foot, probably being less than waist deep in water. It's been so shallow and so wide and the ford so firm that there's never been a need to build a bridge there. As you're crossing the river, he sort of points down the river to number 2 and points out that's the Ulber family mill, which is the only mill in Ashburn Ford. It's incredibly overpriced, by the way. You're better off buying from Sembian merchants than the lot from them. Which you guys just sort of know from basic common knowledge that Sembia has been in rough conflict with the Dales for some time now. As you finish crossing the ford, you come up to the number 3 on your right, which is the Greymantle Stables, which he says is actually one of the better in all of the Dalelands if you decide to purchase horses before leaving. Okay. Yeah, the stables is actually one of the better in all of the Dalelands if you do decide to purchase horses on your way out. The Greymantle family has actually run it for several generations. It's quite famous in the Dales. And on top of the usual breeds that you would find there, they also breed light and heavy war horses. Just off to the left here is, which would be number 4, is Lewin's Fine Leathers. The Lewin family has, just like a lot of other families in the Dales, has been in Mistledale for generations, and their goods are unusually inexpensive for how well made they are. Traveling further down the road, just as you guys get to that first crossroads, he sort of signals down to number 5 and says, "That's the Velvet Veil. It's a tap hall. You could get drinks there if you were so inclined, but I would," and he sort of becomes blushed and nervous and sort of says, "I assume gentlemen of your caliber won't require the other services that are offered there." Going just a little bit further down the road, the Ashbenford Arms, number 7, is sort of an older and more ostentatious inn than the White Hart. The Arms charges a little bit more, maybe closer to $1.50 per night, but provides luxurious services by the Dale Inn services if you were so inclined. Just to the left at number 8 is a shrine to Shantae. If you do choose to pay your respects, I won't ask your personal religious preferences, but like all shrines to Shantae, we observe prayer first thing sunrise in the morning. Number 10, as you're coming closer to it, which would be actually like 10 and 11 are sort of the same area, is Multhimer's shop, which he sort of starts to tell you about the fact that it used to be quite a famous trader and was a person, Multhimer, which is now sort of a rank more than anything. It's a general trading post where you can buy and sell just about anything if you are so inclined. Just in a similar nature to number 12 is Jarwayne's Imports, which has been there for hundreds of years, run by a moon elf who, Jarwayne himself, who's run it for as long as it's been open, is a shop of imports, but is more based around spices, silks, cottons, lace, and that sort of thing. You could find all manner of goods there if you were so inclined. Number 13, as you get close to it, he introduces his Horsewaters Pool, which is an open well serving all passers-by. So you spill your cans of beer. Horsewater Pool is a local gathering place for neighborly gossip and such. You start to make a left as you come up to 13, but he sort of looks down towards the right and points to the house, which is number 15 at the end of the block, which he tells you is the house of the High Counselor. You probably won't have any reason to go there just as guests of the village, but the Malron family has owned that house for generations, and it seems just about every other Malron boy ends up being a High Counselor some way or another over the years. They've owned a general goods shop in town, and the house is where the Council of Six has all their meetings, just based on the fact that it is the largest residence in town. There's other buildings, sort of as you're continuing to march up this road and ride the wagons up this road. He says there's other buildings off to what is the south to you now, like say where number 17 is. There's an alchemist shop that's owned there by the Aldcastle family. Personally, he's afraid to go in there. But the Aldcastles have operated the shops for generations, and Maros is the first non-human to be on the Council of Six as far back as he can remember, as he is a gnome, and that family that runs the alchemist shop have been gnomes. So you ride for a couple more minutes till you guys eventually get up to number 20, which is the Barracks of the Riders. These walled-in buildings are our headquarters. The riders train the Ashabenford militia in the courtyard, and we use the small keep house as a town jail if necessary. Troublemakers are likely imprisoned here until the council decides what to do with them, so please be on your best behavior, and you won't need to encounter that process. We riders probably number maybe in the region of 200, but spread throughout the whole area of Mistledale, keeping peace. I know 200 probably doesn't sound like much to defend a whole province to you, but we can call a militia of up to almost 1,000 if need be, which has grown lately largely due to our conflicts and needs for soldiers versus Sembia in the south. He leads you inside the sort of compound where he shows you where to park the wagons next to the next to the stables inside, and leads you into sort of the main building of the barracks, but very quickly off to the left into a small office, so without even barely seeing any of the barracks, and asks you to sit, which has just enough seats for the three of you around a small desk. Then he disappears to go fetch Captain Baygrill, who is, as you guys have mentioned, or have heard previously, is the captain of the Riders of Ashabenford. You guys have a couple minutes waiting, the three of you sort of awkwardly sitting there, not really knowing what to make of the whole situation, sort of just regained what you thought was maybe going to be your lives ending. While you're sitting there, you have a few minutes of sort of awkward silence, but you can see out the window, the one single window, that the guards are stringing up the rider who had previously winked at you and they had bound up. They're stringing up in the middle of the courtyard, and without too much pomp or ceremony, they begin whipping him in front of the militia who is finishing up their training for the day, as it's sort of just evening is beginning now. And they give him 6 quick lashes before cutting him loose and dragging him off somewhere deeper into the barracks. Before you guys can even really process it or think to discuss it, Lieutenant Graven enters the room again, followed by someone who he introduces as Emerus Baygrill, the captain of the Ashabenford Riders, who is quite decorated in his black shining plate armor, as they all are. He's actually much younger than you had just assumed he would be by title, somewhere probably in his mid-20s. And he extracts from all of you a quick but detailed version of the happenings that brought you here, similar to the version that Lieutenant Graven pulled out of you guys. He jots down all the details on a notebook before thanking you quickly for your recountings, but apologizing that he needs to leave quickly to attend to other local military matters. Lieutenant Graven, sort of taken aback quickly by the whole briefness of the situation, apologizes as well, and asks if there's anything he can do for the three of you before leaving you to about your lives. Is there anything you guys need from him at all, or are you content to peace out?
I mean, I have one just straight up question immediately when I get the first opportunity. Is that man? We saw a man whipped who received six lashes through the window there.
Right.
We probably or possibly owe our lives to him. Who is he? And what did he do to deserve that or to earn that?
Right. He looks both like amused and sympathetic and understanding to your whole line of questioning. And he sort of looks over his shoulder to make sure that nobody's listening, and he sort of says, well, this is awkward. You may owe him your lives, and I'm sure that 90% of the riders of Ashabenford could say the same thing. That's, well, was Lieutenant Braxis up until recently. He's been busted down to Private Braxis very quickly over the recent weeks. I won't get into his personal life or what's brought him there, but as of late he's become a more and more difficult soldier for us to manner. Previously he was a stout paladin of Tyr. Sorry, Torm, not Tyr. Torm. Tyr doesn't exist in this world anymore. Torm, Paladin of Torm, who seemingly through his personal life has lost his way. Myself, much like the rest of the riders, aren't willing to give up on him yet, but we can't overlook all of his actions. Today he was whipped for breaking ranks during combat and not following orders, which if it was just me, maybe I could tolerate, but in front of the entire platoon or brigade that went out on scout, he needed to be made an example of. Anything else? I was going to say, I'll take that as a no, unless that sounded like maybe Iron Lung checking with something.
No, I was just going to say, is it possible that we could thank him ourselves or speak to him, or has he been dragged off to a jail cell somewhere for the night?
You would be correct in your assumption that for at least tonight he'll be behind bars. It's very difficult for us to keep Braxis behind bars for long, especially as of late, as we need every good bodied, abled soldier as possible. But again, I won't bore you with the military happenings and stratagem of the local military. If you do happen to stay in town for long, I'm sure that you could possibly end up meeting up with him at some point, but I'll leave that up to you on your own volition and time. Yeah, so again, he sort of, again, gentlemen, I must be leaving. You could show yourself out the gate the same way you came in. And he sort of leaves the three of you to it. So the three of you sort of are on your way out, sort of awkwardly so, eyeing each other, not entirely sure what to make of the whole situation, not sure where to go next. I mean, I won't go into the details of your previous lives here, but the three of you know that you're all sort of lost, not quite sure where to go. Just as you're getting to the gate and the three of you look like you may part in three separate directions, Lieutenant Raven comes running back, like, in a hurry, catching you at the door, and says, wait, before you go. The captain has caught me just in time and has asked that the three of you return here tomorrow before noon. Captain Bagwell has a job that perhaps the three of you would be interested in. I won't make you make up your minds now, but if you are interested, please be back here again tomorrow before noon, and he could give you the details of the work personally if you are so interested. And leaves you to that. Again, not requiring really an answer from you at that time. So, being that the night is falling on Ashbenford, is there anything you guys have in specific that you feel that you need to get done, or are you content to grab a night's stay at a local inn, or what's the deal? Like, I don't know how you guys are sort of responding to each other. I'm sure you feel a bit of a bond for one another, being that you've saved each other's lives. Are you content to like grab dinner together at a tavern, or I don't know if I
So,
should let you guys role play that or what? I don't know how faggy you guys want to get with the extent of your role playing.
well, I mean, so from my internal role play monologue, not actually just role playing amongst each other. I mean, I'm just got out of battle. Probably still have a bunch of wounds. Maybe I've sort of bandaged myself up a little bit, but well, first of all, I didn't know where I was going in the first place, but I really don't know where the hell I am now. I don't know who either of these people are, except well, probably in a similar situation to me, not necessarily doing too well either. I think they both have some abilities. I don't know if Zontar can do anything. Um, cantrip, maybe, right?
Right. He doesn't even have cantrip. He's so Anyways.
and I mean, from my perspective, I was I didn't have any direction, and this is something. I I'm going to accept it, sort of
For the nature of what it is,
passively,
like,
right?
yeah,
I, yeah, it's fallen upon me, and I'm at least willing to go and talk to these people tomorrow.
right.
But
Oh,
until that point, I mean, I'm just gonna sort of uh, d- I don't even know these guys' names, but I'm gonna basically
right.
just say, I'm still recovering from my injuries. I don't even know when the last time I slept was. I need to go fall unconscious somewhere. I'm gonna go to the inn right at the edge of town and sleep until the very last moment tomorrow when I can get up and come back here. Even if
Right.
I had anything to do, I have no energy. Even if I had something to do, I have no energy to do it. So,
Right. Um, what I'm actually going to do is we'll end the adventure here. Being like, this is literally half of everything that I wrote for this evening, but it's 2 in the morning and I have to go to school in the morning. So we'll end it here, and I'm going to let you guys send me tells and such as to your motivations and such. I mean, I'm assuming that you would be inclined to crash together at the uh, White Hart Inn, which was number 1 again. But it just in case there was something that you personally had motivations to do or something like that during the day or the evening or something like that, I won't make you spoil that in front of the rest of the party, and you guys can send me tells over the evening. And when we play next, we can dictate exactly what happened
Well, I just wanted to say,
from...
like, while we were in the barracks,
Mhm.
it was kind of obvious that I was awkwardly sitting in the chair, almost like it's not
Like a
something
little...
that I was used to doing.
Not to mention the fact that it's a little baby chair,
Big chair.
that you're 6'5" and like 300
D-
pounds.
does
Yeah,
does he have a tail?
You
yeah,
That might be a challenge with the chair, eh?
yeah.
might have noticed like I was studying the chair even as I kind of mimicked them sitting down in the chair.
Sits down on it like he's got a foot up his ass, like moving his tail out of the way. Yeah.
So I'll just say that I'm not saying much. I'm kind of looking into the sky. Maybe even you could perceive that I'm interested in what the weather's doing right now.
Mm.
I don't know if you want to touch on that, but
Are you asking what the weather's like?
what's the weather like right now?
It's a clear, like if it weren't for your previous circumstances, this would be a very blissful situation. Ashbenford is a very calm, friendly, sort of cottage town. Like there's people sitting on their porches, smiling to passerbys. It is a mostly human civilization, but there's a few elves and half-elves moving through with no real racial conflicts of any sort. Again, the sun just kind of started to go down. It's just sort of getting orange outside. Very clear, calm, mild evening.
Yeah.
Breeze or no breeze?
A
Yeah.
little bit of a breeze, middle of the summer.
All right,
Very
so
peaceful environment.
I'm just basically just gonna follow Vengar. I don't really voice much.
Sure.
I'm assuming maybe Xantar might come with us if he doesn't, but it's obvious that I'm like maybe paying attention or cocking my head to the side every time the breeze picks up. And
Sure.
when we get to the inn, I seem kind of confused, and
Well,
I don't go in.
We'll cut it off. We'll cut it off right here, and we're gonna pick up our next play session right where we're leaving off, essentially.
Okay.
I'm gonna give everybody sort of opportunity to interject or toss anything in over the evening, and then we'll
I just have one last request for you, Matt.
What's that?
Could you describe our characters to each other?
Could I describe the what to each other?
Like, what does Zontar look like? Like to me, right? What does Ironlung look like to me? Yeah.
Go to the journal,
Sure.
and in there should be you should be able to read my appearance.
Okay, I'll do the same thing for you guys then.
Yeah. So basically, I describe myself what you could see. Not
Wait, where did you put that?
Party notes.
Oh. Wait, in the status?
Oh, there we go. Party notes, Iron's appearance. Oh, genius.
Wait, you put your appearance in there, or it?
You go to my notes, and then you just do a new one. Name it what you want and fill it in, and then you can make it public or not.
What's this Arkan's appearance?
Probably needs to be.
Wait, I don't see where you're seeing this. Like, I have your character open, and...
Click journal. Party notes.
Where's journal?
It's right above PCs.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Right. I see. Transparency. I gotcha. Arkan.
Yeah, I don't know if that's possible to delete that or not, but...
Fucking rest in peace, Arkan. I think it can't be because it's null. I don't know. Maybe I could figure out a way to delete it. I don't know. Well, I will tell you that Zontar he's a tiefling, so he's tall by human standards, probably about 6 foot tall, but is quite thin and wiry. There's not a whole lot to him. He's quite gaunt. Sort of dark, dusky skin. Tieflings, which, you know, your character would know through the lore. They're rare in Toril, but they're not, or in Faerun, but they're not unheard of. They're half-demon sort of crossbreeds. Their nature is not entirely known. There's some suspicion dictated towards them. But as time goes on, and through the actions of many sort of more famous tieflings, people are learning that by nature they aren't necessarily evil. And though there's still some sort of distrust, they're not all bad, I guess. Again, he doesn't look old. He looks to be the standard young man version, sort of 18 to 24 sort of age group. Again, yeah, I don't know, a little bit standoffish. He's wearing Fashi, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it a red cloak, or is it a red like scarf, or
Yeah, like a cloak, kind of.
yeah, red cloak. Most of his clothing kind of, if it's not specifically red, sort of a beaten up, dark, dirty red sort of situation. Matches sort of his rusted grayish skin. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you other than that. Other than, I mean, you know what a tiefling looks like, right?
Yeah. Wow. And he has his
Yeah, he has this
paper doll picture there. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, thin, not heavily armored, not carrying any weapons. Yeah, Iron Lung is a much larger, again, 6'5", some 300 odd pounds, dark,
I forgot to add
rusted.
that.
Sorry.
I forgot to add all that size.
So, oh yeah, I don't know what. Guess I should sort of see what you wrote in your. Oh, so you pretty much got all your physical appearance here, right? Yeah, scales are dark golden hair, dark
yeah.
hair.
I'll copy paste mine out of the Skype session I sent you yesterday or whatever.
Yeah,
I'll
you
put that in
guys
mine.
could. Yeah, that's a good idea. Just put your party notes in there for anything that's obviously not about the nature of your character and your background. You could just put physical description in there.
Yeah. I had, like, you can make some private ones with just like quick notes, you know, like what modifiers your character might have, things you can like look at really quickly, like, oh, do I get a bonus for this roll? You can make like a little list. It helps out a lot, especially when you first start playing.
Okay, I'm gonna go to bed. So again, if there's anything that you feel that I should know that you would be motivated to do between today and tomorrow, if you feel that for whatever reason I'm going to assume, unless otherwise stated, that you're going to show up there tomorrow before noon. And I'm going to assume that you guys would have gone back to the inn together, unless otherwise stated. And I'm going to assume that you don't have any happenings that you have planned over the evening, unless, again, you tell me otherwise. So, yeah, if there's any playing that we need to do between now and tomorrow at noon, just let me know. But otherwise, I'm just going to assume that this adventure is going to start off the next morning. Or start off this evening, and I'll fill you guys in with what happens. When are we playing next?